Every great transformation begins with a choice, a decision so small it could almost go unnoticed, yet powerful enough to alter the trajectory of your entire life. That choice is this: to no longer think, feel, and act as the woman shaped by the past, but instead to step into a new mind, a new identity, a new energy that mirrors the life you truly desire. And when you begin to live by that new identity, the body, the brain, and your reality start to change in response to that internal shift. We've been conditioned to believe that change begins out there, in the environment, in circumstances, in things we can see. But the truth is, change begins in the invisible field of your consciousness. Your thoughts, your emotions, your focus. This is where the blueprint of your life is being shaped in every moment. And most people, without even knowing it, are running unconscious programs based on who they used to be. They wake up and immediately recall the problems of yesterday, the emotions tied to them, the habits linked to those emotions. In doing so, they reaffirm their identity as the same woman, living the same life, thinking the same thoughts. They're anchored in the past, and they're trying to create a new future from that place. But the woman who has stepped into her queen mindset is no longer doing that. She understands that if she wants to create a different reality, she has to think greater than her environment, greater than her circumstances, greater than the identity she's memorized through years of repetition and survival. Because you can't become someone new while staying loyal to the emotions of who you've been. There must be a break in the pattern, a moment when you decide, enough repeating stories that no longer serve you, enough energizing the past with your thoughts, enough living in reaction. That's the moment when the shift begins. Not when everything is perfect, not when the timing feels right, but when you choose, despite the discomfort, to think a new thought, to feel a new emotion, to see yourself in a new way, and at first it won't feel natural. The old self will want to pull you back into the familiar, but you're not here for familiarity, you're here for expansion. The brain and body are habit-making machines. They memorize emotions like grief, stress, lack, and unworthiness so deeply that those emotions become part of your personality. But they are not ***. They're just rehearsed responses to the past, and when you become conscious of those patterns, when you notice yourself about to shrink, doubt, worry, you interrupt the program. That's when you reclaim your power. That's when you start rewiring your mind to match the woman you're becoming, not the one you've outgrown. You must begin to mentally rehearse your future until it becomes more familiar than the past. You must become intimately acquainted with the woman who already has what you desire. How does she walk? How does she breathe? How does she think, speak, and respond to the world around her? When you connect with her often enough, you begin to embody her energy. And when your internal state matches the reality you want, you become magnetic to it. This isn't fantasy, this is biology, this is physics. Your thoughts produce measurable energy. Your emotions create a frequency that informs your field. And that field is what communicates with everything around you. The universe isn't responding to what you say you want. It's responding to what you are in the present moment. So when you align with elevated thoughts and emotions, gratitude, joy, empowerment, you send out a coherent signal. And life begins to mirror that coherence back to you. The queen mindset is a state of inner clarity and certainty. It's not about external power or appearance. It's about knowing who you are at your core and living from that place consistently. Even when no one else sees it yet, even when your outer world hasn't caught up. You don't wait for the crown to be placed on your head, you wear it energetically first. Because it's never been about proving anything to the world. It's about proving to yourself that you are worthy of the vision you've been given. And that vision was given to you because you're the one to bring it to life. It's a sacred responsibility to show up as the future self now. To think beyond what is and to emotionally anchor into what could be. That takes courage. That takes presence. That takes the willingness to break the habit of being your old self day after day until the new self becomes your natural state. And as you do this work, your body starts to believe the future is happening now. Your subconscious starts to accept it as truth, and reality has no choice but to follow. When you master the space between who you were and who you're becoming, You create the opening where miracles happen. You can't create a new future while you're anchored emotionally to the past. That's the truth most people miss. They think manifestation is about repeating affirmations, scripting intentions, visualizing for a few minutes, and then going back to feeling unworthy, unsupported, overwhelmed. But manifestation doesn't respond to the words you say once a day. It responds to the energy you live in consistently. And until you master your emotional state, you're just rehearsing the same reality over and over again, while wishing for something different. The woman who lives in the queen mindset understands that her emotions are not just reactions. They are instructions. They are signals broadcasting into the quantum field, attracting experiences that match their frequency. And if she wants to become magnetic to a new reality, she must become emotionally aligned with that future before it ever shows up. That means she doesn't wait for the external world to change to feel abundant, loved, secure. She generates those feelings from within. She becomes the cause, not the effect. But to do that, you have to break the addiction to the emotions you've practiced most. The ones you've memorized through repetition, trauma, or conditioning. Emotions like guilt, shame, fear, comparison. Those aren't just feelings. They're energetic signatures, and the body becomes so used to those signals it begins to crave them, even when they're painful. Even when they limit you, the body doesn't care about your goals. It cares about what's familiar, and if suffering is familiar, it will pull you back to it like gravity. So the work becomes learning how to feel ahead of your reality, not waiting to receive before you feel worthy, but choosing to feel worthy so that you become receptive. Not depending on love from the outside to feel whole, but becoming love internally so that it has no choice but to reflect back to you. And this isn't about pretending or performing. This is about genuine energetic embodiment, because when you generate elevated emotions, gratitude, joy, compassion, empowerment, you begin to tell your body and your brain a new story. You send new signals to your cells. You broadcast a different frequency into the field. And the quantum field, by its very nature, begins to mirror that vibration. This is the secret. Your emotional state is the magnet. Thought alone isn't enough. Intention alone isn't enough. You must marry a clear intention with an elevated emotion. That's the formula. You must feel it as real, because the subconscious doesn't know the difference between what's imagined and what's experienced. It responds to emotion. And when you consistently feel the emotions of your future, you begin to teach your body what it's like to live there now, and the body becomes the unconscious mind. It begins to believe in that future more than the past. This is how you start living from the end, not hoping, not wishing, but knowing. When you walk into a room with the energy of a woman who's already living her vision, the world responds to you differently. People feel your coherence, they feel your certainty, they feel that you are no longer waiting, you are already becoming, and that is the most attractive force in the universe. Now, of course, this doesn't happen all at once. The old emotions will rise up, the triggers will still come, but that's not a failure, it's a gift. Because every time you feel yourself slipping back into the past, you have a new opportunity to choose, to shift, to recalibrate, and each time you do that, you teach your body that it no longer gets to run the show. You teach it that a new pattern is being installed, one that matches the future, not the trauma. The vision, not the wound. You are not here to react. You are here to create. And creation happens when you begin to feel in alignment with the woman you've seen in your vision. The one who holds herself with grace. The one who speaks from purpose. The one who no longer doubts her worth. She's not someone you become someday. She's a frequency you can begin to tune into now. And the more time you spend in that frequency, the more natural it becomes. The more magnetic you become, the more reality has to reorganize around the energy you're generating. That's how manifestation works. Not by chasing, but by aligning. Not by forcing, but by allowing, and you allow by becoming. You don't need to look for your future. You need to feel it. Because when you feel it, you signal to the field, I am ready. I am already her. I have arrived. That's when your future starts moving toward you. There's a moment in every woman's journey when she stops asking, how do I fix my life? Asterisk and starts asking, asterisk, who do I need to become to live the life I desire? Asterisk, that shift in focus changes everything, because it moves you out of problem-solving mode, out of the old familiar survival patterns, and into creation. And when you start to live from creation rather than reaction, you become a powerful force, not because you're controlling life, but because you're aligned with a version of you who no longer needs to control anything. She simply asterisk is asterisk. She embodies the energy of the reality she's calling in. Your personal reality is a direct reflection of your personality. That means if you want to change the life you're living, you have to change who you're being. The way you think, the way you feel, the choices you make, the behaviors you repeat, your energy signature, and here's where most people get stuck. They try to drag the old self into the new life. They try to build a future using the same thoughts, habits, and emotions that created the past. But that's not how transformation works. You don't get to bring the old identity with you into the future. You have to shed it, let it go, because the version of you that created your current life is not the same version who will create the next one. So you begin to ask yourself with radical honesty, who am I being? Am I being the woman I see in my vision, or am I being the woman shaped by my past? Am I still thinking from limitation? Am I still reacting with fear, with doubt, with the need to control? Or have I started to recondition myself to become the version of me who walks in freedom, ease, clarity, and power? And if the answer is no, if you realize that you're still living in reaction to your circumstances, then that's not a problem. That's your starting point, that's your doorway, because now you have awareness, and awareness is the first step toward change. You can't change what you're not willing to see. And when you see it, when you become conscious of how you've been thinking, feeling, acting, you create a window of opportunity. That's when you can say, wait, this emotion I keep rehearsing, this response I keep giving, this version of me I keep showing up as, is this aligned with the woman I'm becoming? And if the answer is no, then you have a choice. That choice made again and again is what begins to collapse the old identity. You stop feeding energy to the past. You stop reinforcing the patterns. You stop investing your attention in the version of you that no longer exists. And you begin to invest it in the woman who already lives your desired future. Not someday, not when the world changes, but now, because you've made the decision to become her in energy first. And it's not always easy. The familiar self will try to pull you back. The mind will give you all the reasons why it's safer to stay the same. The body will resist the discomfort of change, but when you understand the science of transformation, when you understand that discomfort is the evidence that the old self is losing its grip, you stop fearing it. You start welcoming it, because it means the program is breaking down. It means the emotional addictions are being starved of their fuel. And it means your future is no longer just a possibility, it's becoming a probability. The Queen mindset is born in that space between the old and the new, that unknown space where you no longer identify with who you were, but haven't yet fully stepped into who you're becoming. That's the sweet spot. That's where your nervous system learns to trust a new reality before it appears. That's where the subconscious mind starts to rewire. And that's where you train your energy to move ahead of the evidence, so the evidence can catch up. Because manifestation isn't about sitting still and hoping. It's about becoming the energetic match to your vision and then acting from that energy. When you walk, talk, think, and breathe as the future self, you collapse time. The external world reorganizes itself around your internal shift. Opportunities, relationships, ideas, they don't come to the old self. They come to the new version of you. The one you chose to become before it was obvious, before it was proven, before anyone else saw it. So if you're not seeing what you want in your life yet, ask yourself, am I being the version of me who already has it? Not just in my thoughts, but in my habits, in my emotions, in my state of being. Because the quantum field is always reflecting who you are, not who you hope to be. When you close that gap, when you begin to embody the energy of the woman you envision, life begins to meet you there. Your future is already real, It's waiting for you to become the version of yourself who can live it. When a woman steps into her queen mindset, she begins to understand that her external world is not a fixed reality. It is a reflection of her internal state. She realizes that life is not happening to her. It's responding to her. And this awareness begins to shift everything. Because once you truly understand that the energy you broadcast determines the experiences you attract, you stop chasing and start aligning. You stop waiting for permission and start embodying the vibration of the life you want to create. So the question becomes, what energy are you living in? What signal are you sending out into the quantum field on a consistent basis? Because it's not the one-time intention, the quick morning affirmation, or the 5 minutes of meditation that shapes your life. It's the dominant frequency you embody throughout your day. That frequency is your signature. And that signature is what the field responds to. When you're living in survival emotions like fear, lack, resentment, or overwhelm, you're signaling a reality that matches those emotions. And it's not because life is punishing you. It's because the field is neutral. It simply mirrors. So if you're feeling lack, you attract more evidence of lack. If you're emotionally bonded to unworthiness, you attract experiences that reinforce it. And here's the trap. Most people wait for their external world to change before they give themselves permission to feel differently. They say, when the money comes, I'll feel abundant. When the relationship appears, I'll feel loved. When the success shows up, I'll feel confident. But that's not how manifestation works. You must feel the emotion of your future now before it arrives. You must rehearse it, embody it, become it, until it becomes more familiar than the past. That's when the field begins to rearrange itself. That's when new opportunities appear. That's when you begin attracting experiences that match the new emotional signature you're radiating. Now, this doesn't mean you're pretending. It doesn't mean you're faking positivity or bypassing your pain. It means you're consciously deciding not to live as a victim of your past emotions anymore. It means you're choosing to step into the creative role of your life and generate elevated emotions, even when there's no visible reason to feel them yet. And that's the true test. Can you feel gratitude for a future that hasn't arrived? Can you feel love for yourself before you see the external validation? Can you feel abundance when the evidence still shows limitation? Because the moment you can do that, you're no longer conditioned by your outer world. You're leading from your inner world. You're shifting from a reactive state to a creative one, and that's where all the magic happens. This is how you become magnetic, not by chasing, but by tuning your energy. You become the signal, not the seeker. The woman who already embodies the vibration of her desires doesn't need to go out and prove anything. She simply radiates it, and people, situations, and synchronicities begin to find her, not because she's lucky, but because she's in alignment. And alignment doesn't mean perfection, it means coherence. It means your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions are moving in the same direction. There's no internal conflict, there's no second guessing. You've decided who you are, and you've chosen to live from that energy again and again until it becomes your new baseline. You see, you're not trying to get the thing. You're becoming the woman who naturally receives it. Because once you're energetically aligned, you don't have to force anything. The universe is not keeping anything from you. It's simply waiting for you to match the vibration of what you've asked for. And when you do, it shows up. Not through effort, but through resonance. Every queen knows her power lies not in what she can control externally, but in how she chooses to show up energetically, regardless of the circumstances. She understands that her energy is not only influencing her future, it's already creating it, and she takes responsibility for it. She doesn't wait to be rescued. She doesn't wait for the world to validate her worth. She walks as if it's already done. She feels as if she's already arrived, and because she does, she collapses time and brings her vision closer every single day. You don't become magnetic by wishing. You become magnetic by being . And when your being reflects the reality you desire, that reality becomes inevitable.